Sensation overview. Sensation refers to the awareness of stimuli, internal and external, as perceived by the brain. The process of sensation involves 1. The rapid reception, 2. Transduction, 3. And perception of sensory information. When a sensory receptor is stimulated, reception, the stimulus is transmitted to the central nervous system, spinal cord and brain, via an action potential, transduction. The cerebral cortex of the brain then receives and interprets the sensory information, perception. Several types of sensory receptors in the body respond to various stimuli, mainly chemical, temperature, pressure, and light. For example, sensory receptors in the eyes, photoreceptors, are stimulated by light to enable the sense of sight. Stimulation of sensory receptor. The sense of touch relies on pressure-sensitive sensory receptors known as mechanoreceptors. When a stimulus such as a probe touches a finger, sensory receptors are activated by the mechanical pressure. Generation of action potential. The stimulated sensory receptor converts the mechanical energy from the touch into an action potential, an electrical signal that travels along nerves to rapidly transmit information to the brain. Transduction of action potential. The generated action potential rapidly travels along axons, nerve fibers, until it reaches the central nervous system, spinal cord and brain.
Perception of sensory information in the brain. The brain receives the sensory information communicated by the action potential. The cerebral cortex of the brain interprets the incoming stimulus, resulting in conscious or subconscious perception of the sensation. Olfactory system. Olfactory transduction, or olfaction, refers to the detection of odorants, molecules, that are perceived by the brain as smell. The odorants are converted to smell sensory information through a complex process of chemical and electrical signaling. Smelling involves the interaction of specialized sensory receptors in the nasal cavity with neural pathways that lead to the brain. When an odorant molecule enters the nose, it travels into the upper nasal cavity and is detected by olfactory sensory neurons, specialized nerves, in the olfactory epithelium. In response to the odorant, the olfactory sensory neurons send smell information to the olfactory bulb and olfactory tract, structures that lead to the brain. Olfactory sensory neuron. Odorant molecules bind to receptors located on the cilia of olfactory sensory neurons. The binding causes the cell membrane to become depolarized, creating an action potential, electrical signal, that is transmitted to the brain. Transmission of action potential. The action potential, electrical signal, travels from the olfactory sensory neuron to the olfactory bulb, a rounded structure that connects to a bundle of nerve fibers called the olfactory tract. The olfactory tract then transmits the smell sensory information to the brain.